Let me tell you about Coffee and Kareem, presented by Asbury Park and Curtis. Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Scott Fain.
And his co-host Ashley J. What's up, everybody?
Today we're going to do Coffee and Kareem. Let me tell you about Coffee and Kareem, a 2020 Netflix movie. As we normally do, we're going to start off this one with a little bit of spoiler-free talk. Getting the ball rolling, Ashley, I'm going to just go through what this movie, the plot synopsis, is supposed to be.
Okay.
So, it's action comedy. 12-year-old Kareem Manning hires a criminal to scare his mom's new boyfriend, police officer James Coffey, but it backfires, forcing Coffee and Kareem to team up in order to save themselves from Detroit's most ruthless drug kingpin. Now, that is definitely a description of what takes place in this movie.
They did not lie.
They did not lie. I can honestly say that. And without giving too many spoilers, this one was it was hard to watch. Not hard, like it just wasn't very good to me. Like the thing that wasn't very good to me, unfortunately, was the young character of Kareem.
Yeah. If Plan B was a person.
Wow. I wouldn't go as far as that, but okay. Yeah, this one that was real hard for me. It was more just coming from being a parent of teenagers, having to watch a movie with the most surly teenager attitude. Kind of made me mad most of the time. I kept wanting to snatch him up, and I felt like Claire Huxtable. Remember that one time when she was like, "I just wanted to grab that child and shake her." That's how I felt with this cat. Just the premise didn't do it for me. The setup and everything, how they were, the whole reason for us watching this movie ultimately didn't work for me. For me, I had to give it a C minus. That's my grade on this one. What about you, Ash?
As far as grading goes, I don't even have a grade. Like P for poor. Let's see. I guess I can stomach the C minus and go that with you because it wasn't a quote unquote bad movie. I
No.
just maybe I'm not in the age range to where this was entertaining because I am not coming from a biological parental place and it didn't make me want to go there at all. I would imagine for someone it's entertaining, maybe other badass teenagers that find themselves being like Kareem, but it wasn't for me.
And I'd like to also add that perhaps a new rule for us doing these types of podcasts, maybe no movies with puns in the title, you know? That might be the clue. We're gonna have to build this thing out. It's like, okay, so if the movie has a pun, maybe this is not gonna be that kind of movie that I'm gonna dig. Just as before I'd like to talk a little bit about the actors. Like I said, I love me some Taraji P. Henson in general. Now I give you that this is
In
this
general.
is in general, this is like the third of the last three movies I've seen of hers that I have not enjoyed as much as I enjoy her as a person. You know,
Yeah.
you watch What Men Want, add that to Proud Mary, and then you lay this one on top, and it's just like, it's
Go
like
back to
I
Hidden
love you,
Figures and
Taraji.
Baby Boy.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, when they do her, 20, 30 years from now, they do her Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars or whatever. I don't think Coffee and Kareem makes the highlight reel. That's all I'm saying.
No, because as much as you wanted to smack Kareem and shake him, his mama needed the same shaking. So I don't know if that makes us grandparents,
I don't know either.
but
I
everybody
don't
needed
know
to
either.
be shook.
I mean, Ed Helms as the titular Coffee was passable. I didn't have any problem with him ultimately. I think some of the situations he found himself in didn't make sense based on what they were telling us, and we can get into that in a minute. I did enjoy, like, the reason this is not a total failure to me, and I gave it a C minus instead of something lower, was because of the people they had in this movie surrounding them. The henchmen, I enjoyed them. Coffee, I mean, Ed Helms, his character, for the most part, I enjoyed him. Taraji's character, a little less so because of things we can talk about in a few. Um, and and uh, even Betty Gilpin, she was in this as the she's that crazy female cop that's a rival of Ed Helms' Coffee. And
Yeah.
she was just doing stunts and shows. You could just tell she was having a ball. And I don't mind when actors are just having a ball. You know what I mean?
Mine is Kareem. Kareem needs to be the most scholarly. I need
Oh
to
boy.
see him in like the most non-abrasive of roles. Like I almost need him to be a sick patient in his next movie just so I can like him again.
let's let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay, from this point forward, my grade again is a C minus. Ashley, yours?
I'm gonna write it out with you because, like I said, overall, it wasn't. There wasn't anything bad about the movie except for I really didn't like the character, which I would say it. It's a C minus because it's not an fail because I'm not indifferent and don't care and it was just trash. I a little bit excited to talk crap about this movie, so I have to keep it in the C range.
All right. Spoilers from this point out. First off, before I get into it, I had to when I first put this movie down and I was shaking my head, I had to be like, okay, because for me, I'm making an art piece for this. And when I made that commitment, it was movies like this that I figured were going to be the most challenging to find that thing about it that makes me want to spend 10 hours making something, crafting something from it. And so I had to look at the stuff that I liked. Uh, what did I like about this movie? The henchmen, the criminals. So starting out, obviously, you got Kareem, who is the young boy, and he gets into all these shenanigans by setting this cop up who's dating his mother, and the criminals that he encounters in this adventure loved them. They were funny. They were like the highlight of every scene they were in. To be honest, for me,
They were comic relief, and they were way less scary than Kareem.
honestly, yes, yes. Uh, the final relationship between James and Kareem, Coffee and Kareem, their final landing point of their relationship through all the nonsense, I did kind of like that where they landed at the end. Didn't like the journey getting there, but the end I didn't. I like that.
So the
Um,
end justified the means for you.
I ain't going about that. I'm just saying I liked how they ended, together. David Allen Greer's in this. A couple of scenes. They probably came out for a day and made a couple of dollars. I thought he was funny in what he was in. He was really not in it very much, but whatever he was in, he was good. What about you?
I like that it didn't drag. I like the action adventureness of it all, but my overwhelming feeling is why coffee? Why? Were there no other formidable young black women that you were attracted to? I feel like every stereotype of nah, she got kids is
Came into
evident
play.
in this movie. Like,
Yeah, if we had to describe this one, like in the synopsis that they give, they say Kareem, he basically sets up the coffee. I hate their names. I feel so stupid every time I say their names together. Kareem basically sets up coffee. This police officer, he is an officer of the law, sets him up to be beaten up because he caught him having sex with his mother, and not even illicitly. They're in a relationship. They're sneaking around, because she got a kid, and you don't want to bring nobody home too fast. But this little young man sees them in all together and gets it in his mind. It's like, this dude is banging my mother, and he
mm.
just can't have it. And it was just like, who does this? Like, that ain't none of your business what your mama doing. That is none of your business. And at the very least, Taraji, or excuse me, Vanessa or whatever, his mama should have been the first
Never
one in his
checked it.
ass. Should have been
Never
the
checked
first
it.
one in him. Like, don't you like? I am the parent. You are the child. Don't tell me nothing about who you think I should be. Boy, that's what I kept waiting for. I never got that boy. What you know that pop on the side of the head. What you talking
He
about?
should have got dropped off with the criminals. If you want to take somebody out, here you go. If you want to trade him for me, here you go. Like,
Right.
all of the you asked for everything. None of this had to happen. You specifically went on your little IG live and almost got yourself killed. Like you're stupid. Like you're a little
Himself,
kid.
his mama, a police officer. Forget about he's dating your mother. He's a police officer. You set a police officer up
A
to be
corny one.
hurt.
He
Yeah.
was corny now. If it was
Fine.
any
I will
police
give him
officer
that.
you could probably get it off on, it's probably Garvey.
Still, I mean, that to me, that shows a lack of upbringing. Not an upbringing, but just kind of, it's like it shows a lack of judgment. That I feel like should have been instilled with mom. It's like at the very least, when she starts dating a cop, there should have been a conversation with, no, you can't be that way, you can't act that way, or there should have been some kind of check. I don't have all the words, proper words to say it in this moment, but there should have been some kind of check on his attitude.
You know what I think what is making us even more angry is the verbiage. Had he been just as much of an asshole and just as bad, but he spoke like a 12-year-old, it would have been so much more. I could have taken that a little better, I feel. But I am getting cursed out by somebody who is irrational, not thinking things through, and getting himself further and further into some bullshit for no reason while he cussing out adults.
I
Like,
know, like really good cussing too. Like it's like he had writers. You know what I mean? He don't cuss like a 12-year-old. He cuss like somebody that has writers, which is always like
man.
that's a pet peeve of mine. Like I noticed it in like I don't know if you ever watched House of Pain. Is that the right one? The there's a Tyler Perry movie or TV show where it was a little girl on it. And every time I heard that little girl talk, she didn't talk like a little girl. She talked like what a writer would think a little girl who had a smart mouth would talk like. You know
That
what I
could have
mean?
been Jasmine from House of Pain. Could have
I,
been.
it probably is that, and it's like that turns me off. I don't like it when I'm watching a movie and there's don't get me wrong, smart ass kid that's funny and in their way to be a smart ass kid is perfectly fine,
Hmm.
but a smart ass kid talking about the graph, he was speaking very graphically
Yeah,
sexually,
this was
and I was like, it just took me out.
them new internet kids.
Yeah, it just kind of
But
took me out the
it,
movie.
like I said, I yeah, like I can agree with you. The premise is fine. He didn't need all of the extra. He was the sundae with the chocolate syrup, the cherries, the sprinkles. He had all of it. In the words of being
Brownies,
way to be
whipped cream.
disrespectful,
Then they poured M&Ms on top of that thing. It's like this is just too
crushed
much.
up a
It's too
Snickers.
much.
It was
Yes,
a
it's too
lot.
much.
It reminds me of one of my favorite comedians' jokes because as a teenager, I can remember being that irritated with my mom. I don't even know if my thoughts could allow me to curse as well or as accurately as he did. But I remember this one joke from this comedian called Tony Baker, and he said, don't you wish one time you could just be like, Mom, shut the fuck up. You don't even know you weren't there. Yes, well, yes, I have wanted to do that. Yes, I have wanted to say that. And this guy is just like the hope and the dream of Tony Baker. Like he had zero inhibitions. He just gonna cuss out adults,
Yeah,
law, his mom. Well, he didn't curse out
he
his
didn't cuss his
mama.
mama. See the thing, the when you look at the relationship between him and his mother, That's the part that doesn't quite jive because Taraji's used to playing these very strong female characters.
Mm-hmm.
And she was playing a very strong powerhouse of an independent mama in this movie. However, her son's behavior did not reflect the
No.
character that she was portraying, because her child, the one that she was actually acting like she had, wouldn't be cussing to that extent. Maybe he cusses a little, but not being that disrespectful, not being that intrusive on her private life, to or at least to know he better be very careful about being intrusive on her private life the way he was. And he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Cookie
He wasn't.
Lyons would never.
She.
What was Jaden's mom's name in the Karate Kid? She would never allow for this
Oh,
type of
heck no.
behavior.
No, I don't care if you know kung fu or whatever. I snatch your little narrow behind. Yeah, see,
Kareem
that's
did
what I'm
not get
saying.
that. And let
No.
me say a little personal touch.
Uh-huh.
My son in love, who is 13, a little smart, little cute chubster with long dreads, I was so happy he wasn't here when, when I say my brain was looking for reasons, like, oh, y'all are the same.
And I've met your son in love. He's awesome, especially when you compare him to this little nutcracker in this movie.
I know.
He's
Mookie
like,
had no. He was just caught in the crossfire of my mind during that
yeah,
moment.
he got yelled
He
at
fit the
for nothing at all
description.
that night. If you watch that movie when he was there.
Fit the description.
Let me hit you with a couple of my laugh out loud moments. Taraji gets kidnapped, or at least they make it up like she appears to be kidnapped. Which, oh shoot, roll back a little bit from that.
Mm-hmm.
Did this boy tase his mama? Excuse me. I was like, that broke the film for me. Like she was wilding out and getting all upset, and it was time for him
Oh
to stop. And
yeah, the whole
this
thing.
little cat tased his mama. I just what? No. That wasn't the part that made me laugh. I was just like, what the fuck? No.
But
That
in his
yeah.
defense, she really needed to shut the fuck up in that
I get that.
moment.
I get that. In the back of my mind, I thought that Coffee was gonna be the one to do it, though, to be honest with you.
Coffee couldn't have come back from that.
Probably not.
Coffee
Probably
would have
not.
rather just died in that room.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You don't tase your mama. Shoot, my mother would never get tased by
How
me.
would you drag her out of the room if she's not willing to go? And you know it's a life or death situation. And you have a taser.
Touche. Okay. Touche.
Mommy,
I
you
wouldn't
got to
like it.
go.
I wouldn't like it, but I have to
Apparently,
begrudgingly give it to you.
I'd be having to tase the both of you.
Like
Come
you could
on,
do
we gotta
like
go.
yeah, like you could do this to me later. Anyway, so they think she's getting kidnapped or whatever, and of course she doesn't. She basically proud marries her way out of it, and
Oh yeah, she
gets to drop on
stands
the
up to everybody else.
yeah. She basically had to drop on the hoods and took them out to the car, put hoods on their head, and tied them up and put them in her car. And the part that ticked me was they were in the car while she was waiting on when she's talking to Coffee and Kareem, and they're in the car under these hoods and they're talking to each other. And then they hear her coming. It's like, hey, shh, here she come. Act like you sleep. Oh man,
The
act like you sleep.
ironic
Had me
part
rolling.
is she had the fear of everybody except Kareem. I mean, he feared her to her face, but the respect did not travel well at
It didn't
all.
travel far. No, 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 not at all.
I never felt more bad for your regular white guy before. Like, that's not a feeling I get on a regular basis. Y'all be cool for the most part. This time I'm like, why, Coffee? Why? Forget
And
the force. Forget this lady. Forget Detroit. Let's start there. You don't fit any of these scenarios.
yeah, and there's a lot of things that just didn't jive. Like the whole premise of him, like they capture that big drug kingpin at the beginning, Ron Rico Lee. They
Oh,
capture him,
Enrico.
and it seems like they captured him in some huge police operation. So why is it that he was able to escape? Because they gave from the huge police operation where they captured him, they put him in a car with just coffee by himself. Why would you even
They
do
were.
that?
I think they were trying to make. They were trying to blame Coffee. Coffee was the fall guy because remember the other lady was working with them,
That's
and
right.
he was
They did that
doofy enough to
to
fall
okay,
for
so they
it.
set him up for the okey doke. Okay, so I that that slipped by me the
In
first
his
time. I was like, why
defense,
would you even do
like I
that?
said, Kareem picked the right victim. Like
Yeah, yeah, he
he didn't.
did.
He didn't try that on the wrong person. Coffee, perfect person for all of this.
I know, because all the little stuff that he gets set up on when he gives him the mace, he's like, "You gonna give me that gun?" I wish that what you gonna mace me, dude? Do you realize you mace me and we're both dead? That makes no sense. Like at
That's
some
why
point,
you should have just let him go. Sometimes you want him, here he is. I'm out.
oh man, it's just like
Goodness.
there's so many things that tick me off, and then they get into that argument at the motel or whatever, and just he gets into it just enough for Taraji to hear him say, I should have, as soon as I saw you, I should have walked out the door of your mama or something like that. Now, yeah, that was a angered utterance. You can't just be mad at somebody. They're having an argument. I get,
Yeah.
especially, have you met your
And it
son?
was unreal. Yes, it was so parent teacher conference. Like, my son would never. Like, do you know him?
Have you met him? Have you met this little cat? I mean, look at his text messages if you don't believe me.
Yeah, check out his social media.
I know this cat was doing some crazy stunts and shows. Man. So anyway, I mean, I don't have much more on this one.
I'm trying to think of a scenario where you would force yourself into anger and nothing has happened yet. Like, this is a great movie if you're having a wonderful day and you just want to fuck it up. Catch coffee and Kareem. Or maybe is it opposite? Like if one of your kids had just pissed you off, and no, that's not better.
No, this would just
You're
make
not
you
gonna be,
madder.
yeah. It's not gonna be like at least my kid isn't. You just want a
No, this
beating for old and new.
if I had to put this down to what type of mood, what type of feeling I would get to to sit down and watch this and think I'd enjoy it, I feel like this is a good movie for somebody that's doesn't want anything, don't have kids. First off, they don't have kids, especially not kids of that tween teen age, because it's gonna have too many triggers for you.
Yes.
Um, you don't have kids, and somebody you're not paying too close attention. Like you just want something to watch you, either while you're doing something or you just kind of want to just veg out. You don't want to think too hard. This is a fun movie. It is. I don't know. I can't even go
It's
that
too
far.
many.
This one.
It's
This one
too
will do.
many variables for making it good.
It's got some good key things that are nice, but for the most part, it just kind of pisses me off.
Would you let your kids watch this?
Yeah, I don't care about that. That's not something that bothers me because my kids don't act like that.
I don't know. I don't know. It made every child I know seem good because no kid I know would do that.
Oh, you know what? I did have one more thing that I thought was actually two more things I thought was funny. One, when Coffee is talking to they got the Orlando guy tied up to the chair,
Hmm.
and in a riff on the advice that Kareem has given him about act gay, which I don't know, strikes me as offensive, but I can't be offended for gay people. But fine. So he says, act gay, basically talk about that you're going to do something to him sexually or whatever if you're a dude. And I guess that makes you seem more hard. And so he didn't go aggressive with it. He went, it's like weirdly aggressive, but
creepy.
Sexy,
That's where he went.
sexy, creepy. Yeah, sexy, creepy. It's like, I would take you out to dinner. We'd be holding hands.
And
I was
for a
like, that's
minute,
funny.
Rodrigo fell for it. Like, you
I
wouldn't call me
know.
back.
Yeah. No, he's like, it's like, I'd say I have to think about it. I was like, we've been dating for what? You said 8 months? Like, wait a minute. Now that was funny. I will give them their credit. Like I said, all the scenes that had those guys in it, they were the stars of the movie. To be honest, they were
Yeah.
just the stars of it.
Cockroach is underrated.
Mm. What? Who's Cockroach?
Isn't Rodrigo Cockroach?
I think his name was Orlando.
I'm talking about in real life.
No, his name is Ron Rico. Ron
Isn't
Rico?
he Cole from Martin a la Cockroach from Cosby Show?
No, that's not. No, I thought that dude's name was Carl Payne or something like that.
Sure is. My bad, Rodrigo. I'm like, why isn't
Man,
he going with this?
because that's not that cat.
Oh, my bad, Cockroach.
Like he was in, I think he was in one of those shows. Like it was a black show back in the '90s that he was on as a kid or a teenager at least, like Sister or something. I don't know if it was that, but it was a show
Oh
like
yeah, I
that.
think he was one of the twins' boyfriends.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
But yeah,
he's not Cockroach. Okay.
his stuff was funny. Like there was funny, and the dude Andrew Bachelor, the other one, the one that had the hat on, the henchman with the hat, the thin one, he was really funny. You know, he was
Oh
really
yeah,
funny
he's a
too.
comedian. I forget his name.
Andrew Bachelor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill all the jokes because if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna watch it. But he did make me laugh out loud a couple of good times with some of his reactions and stuff. But yeah,
And another good thing about it is before you could get too deeply angry or too deeply emotionally invested, a comedic break would come at a good time for this.
hmm
It saves Kareem from your from your mental punishment right on time each time.
right. And wrapping up, this one basically it boils down to the premise of the movie makes the kid seem a little cold and a little bit mean, and it takes some time for me to even get on his side and want to root for him. You know what I mean? And it's like that's not good. It's like I don't like him most of the movie.
Yeah. And you try to see where he's coming from. I mean, I guess he has the his dad isn't there scenario, and he was just a jerk though, more than anything else. Because I don't remember any overlying. I didn't. My brain didn't give any excuses to him. Like, oh, it's because he's mourning his dad or something. Like, I didn't really get that. He still seems
Nah.
like he's gonna grow up an asshole. It's just now that Coffee will be a part of the team and not the enemy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to admit, if that was on the side dish to the Taraji P meal, I would have to think very long and hard about whether I wanted to eat there too. To be honest, because I just like as much as I really enjoy Taraji, I don't
Same
know that
thing
I would
Coffee
want to still
said.
try and date her if her son acted like that.
But the scary part is, do you think this child exists?
I'm sure he does some version of him.
Oh,
Some version of him's probably worse than
I
him.
pray for that boyfriend.
Yeah, I pray for the child. I pray for the child. I've always been you. Kind of kidded me because I said there's no bad children necessarily. And I like to think that way because it's about circumstances and what a person goes through. Sometimes it makes them what they are. And so I feel that way with him, although they didn't really give us enough backstory and character development to let us know why he's such a jerk.
I agree with that, but I counter it with some assholes had to start somewhere.
Touche.
Well, this was fun.
This was fun. This was fun. It was more of like felt like a vent, just mad and smart alecky teenage
If you want to
people.
get your mind off of Corona,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
definitely
definitely
won't be
that.
thinking about no quarantine at the end of this.
No, you be wanting to leave someplace, go somewhere. If you had to live in this world, boy. Oh man. But anyway, I think watch it, don't watch it. It's entirely up to you. I think there is some value here. That's why I stand by my C minus.
I'm going to stand with your C minus too because I see some value. So follow us on YouTube. You can also check us out on Twitter, Instagram. Big bro, did you want to give your handles?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you can reach me at Scott.Fain if you want to take a look at the art piece that I put together for this one. I had to dig deep, to pull it out, but I did make one. And Scott.Fain on Instagram.
All right, cool. And I am at pretty underscore peculiar underscore on Instagram. So check me out, drop us a line, let us know if you took the time to watch Coffee and Kareem and Coffee and Cream,
It
Folgers
messes
and
with you every time.
International Delight.
Every time it messes with me. I feel so silly saying that name. Yes. If you feel like watching Coffee and Kareem, by all means, please let us know what you thought of it after you've taken a look.
Maxwell House and Coffee Mate.
And on that note, peace.
Bye.
To continue the conversation, you can contact Ashley J on Instagram at pretty underscore peculiar underscore, and you can contact me on Instagram at scott.fain or check out my paper cut illustration art pieces at scottfain.com. Music by Arielle Alexander on Instagram at Ms. She Did It Again and SheDidItAgainMusic.com. This has been a Let Me Tell You About presented by Asbury Park and Curtis.